This is going to be like the most detailed step-by-step how to get a perfect salon blow dry at home using your Revlon, and I'm also just going to be giving you like a general kind of opinion of my Revlon. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be giving a full review of my Revlon heated round brush, but I've been using this now for a couple of months. You might have seen a previous video that I did where I compared it to the Remington, and I was preferring the Remington a lot in that video. Like first impressions, I did prefer the Remington, but I've been using this now for a couple of months. I'm not sure exactly how long I've had them both, but I do find myself reaching for this one more, and I think it was kind of just like a bit of a learning curve with this. And now that I have had it for a while, I feel like I can give my honest like review now that I've kind of figured it out. It's a bit more fair. So after I used it for the first time, I still do love using just a regular round brush and a hairdryer, because I feel like you can control the barrel size a lot easier if you've got like, you can just choose which round brush you want, and that's obviously going to give you the look that you want. So there is that. The Revlon just comes as it comes. It is the size that it is. I imagine that if you had much shorter hair, you wouldn't get a bend in it. You would just kind of get volume and like a bit of a that kind of shape. Yeah, I'm just going to show you now how I use it. And the look that I want is I want to get like a big like salon grade blow dry, like with like 90s vibes I guess. But I also want my hair to feel really soft and silky and shiny. Sometimes after you've got a blow dry, you can kind of feel like you can't properly run your fingers through your hair. And that's not what I want. I still want my hair to sit naturally and kind of like fall and flop around. And I want it to look shiny and as healthy as possible. Okay, so the first step in having a perfect bouncy blow dry and your hair feeling perfect and shiny and glossy and everything like that is going to start with the shampoo and conditioner that you use. So the shampoo and conditioner that you use is going to depend on the specific needs of your hair. So like for me, for example, because I've recently dyed my hair blonde, it's feeling a bit porous and slightly damaged. I've gone in with a protein shampoo and conditioner because that was what my hair needed. So depending on what your hair concerns are, like will determine the shampoo and conditioner that you need, if that makes sense. So if you've got like really, really dry hair, but it's not necessarily dry due to like over processing through colouring, it's just dry genetically, like you've just always had dry hair, then of course you're going to need like a hydrating shampoo and conditioner. If you've got really, really curly hair, again, you're going to need to go in with like a lot more moisture. If your hair's really, really fine, you might need something for volume. But if you've got really, really thin, fine hair that's already, you know, in healthy condition, and then you go in with like a really, really moisturising shampoo and conditioner, it's going to sit so heavy on your hair when you're blow drying that it's just going to kind of like flop out. That you're not going to manage to hold a curl very easily. So I'd say it's worth figuring out what kind of hair you have and then researching what type of shampoo and conditioner would be good for you. I can maybe make a video about that as well. I'll actually put some shampoos and conditioners that I recommend in the description next to the hair type. So if you're not sure, you can have a look at that and then maybe I can help you find a shampoo and conditioner that will work for you. But anyway, that's the first step and it is an important one. So step 2 is the styling products that you're using in your hair. So obviously you want to go in with a good heat protection. That's just like a must. I like to either use a spray or a serum. I would recommend using a serum just because you get it into your hands and you can kind of like work through it and make sure that it gets everywhere. The fear with a spray is that people just kind of like spray it a few times and then they hope that it's like covered all of their hair, when like if you're using a spray you need to be like spraying every single section and like combing it through. You want the heat protection to protect all of your hair, not just the outside. And then for a blow dry, because I said I want my hair to still feel quite like silky and floppy and shiny rather than, you know, like some kind of like, if I was going on a night out and I wanted the volume to last, I might accept that my hair needs to feel a bit crunchy and a bit gritty for the longevity of the style. But for today, I just want my hair to feel perfect. Like I just want to be like, oof, when it's done, and like my hair be all swishy. So I don't want anything that has too much hold or too much grip. So I've just gone in with, this is my favourite thing. I only just got this recently and I'm like obsessed with it. I can't stop using it. So this is the Bombshell Volumizer by Colour Wow. They did send this to me, but it was for like a TikTok, and it's definitely not sponsoring this video at all. It's just actually really good and I use it every single time I blow dry my hair now. I'm gonna use some more. What I like about this is that when you put it in your hair, it feels like a luxurious treatment. It feels like some kind of conditioner rather than, it has no like stickiness to it at all, and it doesn't make my hair feel crunchy or anything. It literally just makes my hair feel nourished and like shiny, to be honest. So yeah, the products that you're going to use, again, are really important. If you've got like really pin straight thick hair that's long and it's super heavy, you might need to go in with something that's gonna hold your blow dry a little bit better for you anyway. I can get away with it because my hair's kind of mid-length, and because it's got bleach in it, it just kind of holds a bit better anyway. Then the third step, this is kind of a drawback for Revlon. So this is going to be like my first con for the round brush, and it's that I would 100% recommend drying all of your roots first with a regular hairdryer, because you're going to struggle to actually properly dry the whole root while this is on blowing out hot air. Like, it just doesn't work. That's the only thing that I find annoying about the Revlon. I do literally have to dry my hair with a regular hairdryer first. But I would say that that's the same for all round brushes. I doubt that there are round brushes that cannot do this, so like it's not really a con for what it is, but in terms of like the ease of your blow dry, it is a drawback. But yeah, so that's going to be the first thing that I do. I'm going to dry all of my roots, and I'm going to dry all of my roots forwards towards my face. I'll probably flip my head completely upside down to do the back, just so that I'm starting off with as much volume as possible. And then once my roots are completely bone dry all over, only then will I start going in with my round brush. And that's another big tip as well, like you want your hair to be crisply dry. Like, I want my roots to be completely dry before using this, because otherwise any volume that I'm going to put in with the round brush is just going to fall out immediately. So that's step one. So now we're left with this. I'm just going to brush through my hair. What I like about the Revlon is that it has these like smaller, I can't think of what to call these right now, these types of bristles. And so these bristles are really good for giving you that tension, and also they're really good for smoothing, because there are so many tiny little bristles. It means that every single hair is going to be going in the right direction. Okay, so I'm going to start with just this front part of my fringe, my daisy fringe kind of area. I'm going to dry this part towards my face, and then I'm going to pin it in place with curler. When I'm using this is quite a thick section, so first of all I'm going to come in and I'm going to focus on drying the front half, but then I'm going to come in and focus on drying the back half, like the back section, and I'm going to do that a few times until I'm satisfied that the hair is actually dry. And once the hair's hot and dry, that's when I'm going to sort of start to twist it into the position that I want it, and then I'll bring it down here and I'll turn off the heat, and that way the whole hair is going to be completely dry. So the main takeaway should be every single hair needs to be completely dry if you want your blow dry to last, and if you want your blow dry to not feel knotted and like you can't run your fingers through it. That just means your hair like isn't dry enough, basically. Yeah, so I'm going to brush through it, just because again it's going to make sure that we've got that softness, and it makes sure that all of the hairs are going in the same direction, which is what helps with shine. If you've got your hairs literally all lying plush together, you're going to get much more of that shiny look, because the light's going to be reflecting evenly off of all of the hair. So just want to make sure that's all nice and smooth. And then I'm going to wrap it in place. So I put my roller in about halfway up, and then I put my hand over the top of it like this, so that as I'm pulling it through, the hairs are kind of being combed by the Velcro. So the hairs are like, again, going to be in the same direction. And then I get my fingers like this, and I kind of like push on the section and pinch the roller, and I do that on both sides, and it means that the hairs are gonna like stay in the center of the roller basically. And then I'm gonna clip that in place, because otherwise it'll fall out. Now for the rest of the hair, I actually don't want to go through my parting back and back and back, because I prefer the way that my hair looks when I do it in sections, like when I take my sections either side of the parting and curl them towards my face, because that's exactly where they're going to sit, so I can really like envision where I want them. Whereas if I curl them forwards, when I split that curl in half, it's kind of like a bit random and it's not exactly how I want it. So that's my advice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to section my hair like this and just clip this in place. And then this section here is going to be the first section that I'm working with, and I'm going to leave all of that until I do the back of my head. And I want all of my hair to be curled now towards my face. So kind of underneath, but also towards. So it's not going to be like this towards my face. It's going to be sort of like on this angle. So it is down, but it's also going to like come in nicely and curve inwards like this. But again, I'm going to be going like in front and behind to make sure that the section is completely dry. Sorry, just turn it off to let it cool down a little bit. And then when I take it out, because I'm curling this part towards my face, I'm going to reinforce that with how I removed the round brush. So I'm not just going to like brush it out straight. I'm going to unravel it by twisting it towards my face like this. And then it kind of gives me that curly shape that I want. Now I'm going to take a medium-sized roller, and so that top section was small, and the medium one, I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm kind of like brushing it with the roller, just walking it up. Any little pieces of hair that have fallen out, you can kind of just like reintroduce them as you go up. And then I'll clip that in. And the reason that I've used a medium-sized roller, not a small one, I want this to just be like a really nice blow dry. I don't want it to be super, super curly and tight or anything like that, or like dramatic. I don't want to look like I'm about to like do a red carpet when I'm just, do you know what I mean, going to TK Maxx. Like, it's not really the vibe. Also, this next section here is going to be really small, so I'm going to add that into this same roller because it just saves space on your head and it means you don't run out of rollers. But first of all, I'll do the same thing to the other side. Especially the ends here, you want to make sure that they're rolled into the curler really nicely, so you want to spin the roller a few times at the end, like I say, to kind of brush through the hairs, because the hairs at the end, if they're not nicely put into your roller, they can dry kind of frizzy, and it makes you look like you've got split ends or like frazzled ends when you don't. All that's happened is the hairs haven't dried in the right position. So pay attention that those ends lie nice and flat for you at the bottom. And then I'm just going to take the next section up. You can clip back, you can section off the hair at the back and the hair at the front if you want. I can't bother. So then now I'm going to act as if I'm going to be taking my, following my parting back. I'm going to clip these parts out of my way. But I'm not, I just want these parts out of my way. Okay, so then the next section that I'm going to take is, I'm just going to take this front section here. This is a good example of why I told you to dry your roots first, because now that I'm actually here, it's difficult for me to get into, like, close enough to the root, which is just what I found, like, previously. And then, as I said before, I'm going to put it into this roller. And you can just see like the shine that I'm getting from it already, and that is from just making sure that you're getting everything curling in the same direction basically. For this section I'm not going to use a roller, I'm just going to curl this section with my fingers. So use 2 fingers that it's not too thin and I can kind of like keep my fingers apart at the width that I want. Then I carefully wrap my hair around it. Again, the ends are so important. And then just pinch that and clip clip it in place. Okay, now it's time for this top section. So I'm just going to split it in half again. Oh, actually, that parting is a bit messy. Okay, so now I've split that down the section, like down my parting, which I happen to have in the middle. And then I'm going to split it in half again. So I'm going to take this section. Now this section here will be the last of the hair that I curl towards my face. And then this part here I'm going to include as like the back half. And I'm going to bend that away from my face, so in the other direction. Okay, so going back in with another medium roller. And then making sure that you take exactly the same section from the other side, just so that it's all symmetrical when it comes to doing the back. This section here, which is gonna like kind of separate the front from the back, and this I'm going to curl away from my face, and then I'll just go in with a roller just to make sure that that's nicely set in place. So that is now all of the sections that I'm going to do for like the front half of my head. And then the back half of my head I tackle a little bit differently. I'm going to start at the bottom at the back and start curling it away from my face. But when I pin it in place, I'm not going to be pinning section by section by section. What I do is I just split my hair in half, and then I just take a bottom section like that. Maybe that's a bit too much, just kind of play it by ear. And then I'll clip the rest out of the way. And what I do, instead of clipping it like bit by bit, what I'll do is I'll curl one section or dry one section, and then I'll pin it in place. And then when I dry the next section, similar to what I did here, I just like add it and I just clip them all in place, so that I've just got like two massive curled sections at the back of my head, and they're both going to be going away from my face, which will kind of like promote the hair to go sit in, which is what I want. I don't want any hair flicking up, I want it all to kind of just come in. So if I curl it away from my face like this, it's actually going to come and sit underneath, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's just what I do. And then because I'm going to be clipping them all in together, I work side by side, rather than like here I did like this section, this section, this section, this section, this section, this section. I'm just going to do everything on the right hand side first, all the way up, and then everything on the left hand side all the way up. And that just works a bit easier. And I like to brush my sections together whenever I'm pinning them together, because I know I keep repeating myself, but like that's what makes your hair look shiny, is when you've got all of the hairs going in the same direction. Okay, and now I'm just going to do exactly the same thing on the other side, and I'll just do that off camera because it's literally just going to be exactly the same thing, and then I'll come back when it's ready to be taken out. Alright, so now this is all of my hair blown and pinned. So I'm just going to start taking this out now, and I'm going to start at the front and I'll take the back out last because that was the last part that I did, so I just want to give that time to cool down properly. So as I'm taking it down, I want to remember like that I want it twisted forward, if that makes sense. So like I want to remember how I dried it so that when I pull it out I'm bringing it forward in the right shape. For every section that I take out, sorry, I'm just going to go through it with the brush and then just kind of like reposition it into that place, and that's just going to like, do you see that shine? Now that it's all like nicely brushed together. So I'm just going to do that section by section, and what that means is that I don't have to brush through it too much after I've let it all out because it will already look quite nice. And then of course I will also just take out this top section. And now I'm just going to kind of like gently dress out the front as well. So I'm just going to run my fingers through my hair. But yeah, so this is it, and then I'm not going to add any hairspray just because like I don't like the way that hairspray feels. I'll show you how it looks from the side. And this usually lasts me quite a while. I mean, tomorrow it obviously won't look exactly the same as it looks right now, but I still get that like general shape of everything kind of cutting in, and then the fringe part still kind of like curls away from my face, and that general overall shape will last me until my next blow dry. But yeah, I think like my hair just has like a really nice kind of shine to it now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this helpful in some way. If you have any questions or anything like that, please do let me know in the comments. I'll tag like some shampoos and conditioners that I recommend for different hair types, and I'll also tag, like I'll put a link to everything that I've used today, including the rollers that I use, the hair clips, all of the like styling products, everything like that. So have a look in the description, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye!